Uber. Ugh. Ah! Oh, I'm hearing them. There they are. Let's see if they, unless they're flying this way. No mail call yet. Okay, that didn't work. I'll move that later. Oh, seeing some squirrels out there. I think those are either robins or chickadees, I can't tell. What the fuck? Okay, what the hell is this? What the fuck? Well, that just looks gross. What are you doing? Hey! Trying to eat nuts or something? With your dog? And one more. Whoop. Over here. There we go. All right, Six, come on. Get the nuts out. There we go. Okay. How do I do this? Up. And up. Alright. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Whew. Starting to... It's like I was starting to agree that politics video games are bad. Dude, what? What? Fucking, what are you talking about? There we go. Boop. Hey. Fucking hell. Start watching on my YouTube. Just, why do you even fucking do that? Like, every time I notice that, like, fucking, like, far-right fascist YouTube shit comes on my feed, I make sure that that is not recommended to me. And also that I fucking, you know, say some, stuff, you know, on their comments and shit. Suppose that does boost their shit, but I figured, you know, they would either delete it because they're too sensitive, or leave it there to be like, see these damn woke libs. Blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of it. Fucking hell. Dude, I'm getting like fucking hairs in my mouth all day. See things from the enemy's point of view to get a great view overall. This doesn't know the enemy. Well, yeah. There's one thing of, like, learning about what your enemy, you know, ideologically is about and shit, and there's another thing with just, like, fucking just engulfing yourself in it for no reason. There's a difference. One actually has study and involves, you know, how to defeat said enemy, and the other one is just you're just torturing yourself for no reason. So don't. I mean, besides, there's like more of a genuine analysis to it, and frankly, there's already like research and analysis, you know, done when it comes to conservatism. Like, talk to 10 conservatives, you're gonna get 10, you know, answers that are pretty much the same. Like, straight up. I think he secretly sucks trans dick. No, he doesn't. I think he's a pedophile, like, outright. I think he's a pedophile that wants to have his way with little boys, specifically. and wants to protect the innocence and the youth of, you know, little boys and also little girls too, like just young children. Like, I absolutely believe that he wants to protect the innocence and sanctity of children by, you know, grooming them into his, like, sphere of influence so he can sexually exploit them. Like, he's a legit fucking animal. Like, he is not a human being as far as I'm concerned. He's a fucking animal and a predator. Like, through and through, like a predatory animal. Wish we had tags on him. Unlike, you know, because we could tag wolves and we could tag, you know, bears and shit like that to hunt, but unfortunately not for this case, huh? Because all he needs is a good 300 yards. That good optic wouldn't be hard at all. And just to make sure it's a real good caliber, 6.8 Creedmoor. Don't want that 300 blackout shit, that's just lame. It's basically just like 5.56, but just like smaller and lame. Well, supposedly trying to be like a better round than a 5.56, but it just isn't. 6.8 Creedmoor though, that punches. It's just like 0.2 less than 7 mil. I know, I did too. But sometimes you need something that really packs a punch. And 7.62 sometimes don't always cut it. That's why you gotta get out a big gun. Like 7.92 Curves or some shit. Or fucking, you know, 6.8 Creed. Gotta get like one of those old cartridges. You know, fuck the new modern ones. Get the old ass cartridges. 10 is better than 9. In terms of what? Like, I mean, for stopping power, sure. For accessibility, no. For like at least an accessibility of like it's easy to find and there's a shitload of it, which there is. But like when it comes to like stop power, like and grainage, or for like it just really depends on what you're using it for, based on what. Just that's bigger, because by that logic, then a 58 like a 58 like fucking Desert Eagle is like, I mean that shit might as well be better, but it's not. In fact, it's literally just a meme gun. So, I mean, sometimes bigger isn't always better. Oh, I got my boots up. Yeah, get a little tune going. Up. Expensive pair tonight, but I think improvements to the weapon is worth it. How does it improve a weapon? Like, a gun can't take 9 and 10 millimeter at the same time. Like, if you have a 9 millimeter pistol, like, you can't put 10 millimeter in that. That will literally make the, like, they'll make the gun explode. Like, or vice versa. Because a 9 would be too small to fit in a 10, so that's bad. Or drugged out people took fuckloads of 9 millimeter. Okay, so what? Even to the face and they keep coming? And? I mean, the point isn't necessarily to, like, you know, try to eviscerate the target to Swiss cheese. And also, it's, like, using a gun isn't just strictly for that either. And besides, like, I mean, there's been plenty of times where people have also taken far higher calibers and were, you know, still, like, you know, chugging in, charging, or whatever the fuck. So that's, even then, that's not like, doesn't really mean much. The expensive nature of the weapon. Again, there would be two different guns then. Like, one would be a 9mm and the other one would be a 10, because it would need a different receiver, it would need a different barrel. I mean, maybe even a different firing pin, maybe, just because it'd be need to be maybe slightly bigger, but probably not. Like, there's a lot of different things that would have to change to basically make it a different gun entirely. Like, I mean, for example, like, they make AKs in 5.56, but, like, it's a totally different, like, receiver itself. You have to, you know, have a whole different barrel change and a different gas port system. Like, I would basically have to, like, change out my entire gun entirely. In fact, I mean, I might as well just buy a whole new one at that point. Because, like, I mean, I would essentially would have to, like, reconvert everything, you know, about it in order, and thus between then makes it a totally different weapon. It's a whole new gun at that point. Between now and 2010 will replace 9 and made nation standard pistol. Maybe, but it's just because both are very common. Like, police departments, for example, they use 9 or 10. Like, it's usually one or the other. Like, those, like, both of them are really common. It just depends on what you're using it for. Like, there's nothing, I mean, you can't really, like, compare the two of them. Like, they're totally different calibers and meant to do different things. Like, let's say I was, like, on a hike and I was, like, in an area that is, likely, if, you know, is, like, or even recently has had, like, cougar sightings or bear sightings, I would take, you know, something that's, like, a 10mm or higher. But if it's, like, you know, home defense stuff, I'd take a 9 or even a 22. Because, honestly, like, when it comes to the situation, I'd rather, at least especially if I'm, like, defending my property, for example, have a smaller caliber, because then that caliber and that bullet is not going to be traveling through that person and not traveling through a fucking wall and traveling to somebody else's house, or like somebody walking down the street or something. Like, you want something that's actually smaller. That's why 9 is so beloved, especially when it comes to personal defense, because it's not something that has stopping power in a sense that it's just going to fucking push through somebody and, like, pierce them and then potentially hit somebody behind them. That's why usually lighter calibers, you know, tend to be more favored. That's why, like, 9s or 10s, or, I mean, to a lesser extent 10s, but at least, like, 9s or even 38s or fucking 22s tend to be popular for, like, personal defense, because stop power isn't as, like, you know, as hard in a sense that it's just, the bullet's just going to go right through somebody. Because realistically, you don't want that. It's like, you don't want, like, a bullet you're shooting at somebody to defend yourself with going through them and hitting something else. You don't want that. So, if anything, like, bigger stopping power is not always a good thing. It depends on what it is. Like, I mean, when it comes to, like, you know, what the target is, but that's why, you know, like, different calibers have their place. Like, if I was, like, you know, camping, or if I was, like, hunting deer, I would take a 44 mag with me. Like, 44 Magnum revolver, because that would be excellent when it comes to cougar / bear defense. You know, so it's just like, you know, you want a big fat caliber for something like that for good stopping power, but for a human, you don't need that. Like, you can use a 9 and be just fine. That's controversial. Well, I don't. I just don't want them to be, like, an intruder in a sense that they're a threat. And if that means that they could be eliminated as a threat without killing the fucking person, then that's just fine by me. If anything, then I'll just tell them how much of a fucking idiot they are and then just, like, shit on them and mock them. It's like, now look at you, you fucking dumbass. Now you got a bullet in your gut, and now you're sitting here rolling around, fucking groaning on my floor, and now, you know, chances are I'm gonna find your fucking contact information and make your ass clean up my fucking floor, you dumbass. Fuck you, you piece of dumb shit. You're lucky I decided to shoot your gut. Like, I'd be fucking mocking his ass. Making him really feel bad for it. Well, tell that to somebody who might be out in public, like in a bar setting. That's why it's a stupid idea to do that. Just eliminate the threat as that, a threat. That doesn't mean eliminate somebody's fucking life. Saw them reaching. Oh yeah, tell that to the witnesses that saw the exact opposite happen, where you're the one who pulled the gun out first. So I don't bring weapons to public, duh. Well, the point exactly. That's why, you know, when it comes to dealing with somebody who might be a threat, whether it's in your own property, your own home, or out in the public, like, the idea of just, like, you know, oh, that means, you know, end their life is kind of a dumb notion. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's on the table, so to speak. Like, yeah, if there was, like, an intruder in my house and they potentially had a weapon, then, yeah, I'm probably going to at least consider, like, yeah, I might be off in this person night. But, you know, chances are that I don't want that, and I know I don't want that, so I'll try to not do that. And that's why hitting center mass, you know, when it comes to, like, the torso and the gut region is usually, you know, a good option. Because, you know, like, if you shoot someone in the gut, chances are they'll probably live. They'll be on the ground hurting a lot, but, you know, they'll live. I mean, if you shoot somebody in the leg, chances are that you might hit their major artery and they'll bleed out and die. And plus, like, that's a small target. So, you know, it's just like, it's, you know, easier to just, like, do one or two, you know, to the gut, and then that person's down and threat eliminated. Person's alive, hurting, in pain, but, you know, not threat no more. So someone's accosting your mom. What, just, like, verbally? I'll just tell them to fuck off. You know, and like, you know, yeah, probably get in their face. If they want to start some shit, yeah, I'll fight them. But that's, like, accosting. No, physically. Well, if they're physically going after my mom, then yeah, I'm gonna fucking, you know, beat the shit out of them. And yeah, eliminate the threat in the sense that there ain't gonna be beating shit out of my mom no more. But, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean, like, basically, you know, they will fucking, you know, probably likely be on the ground and fucking hurting and damaged up. They'll be hurt, like, you know, they'll be banged up, probably a concussion, you know, some brain damage maybe, but they'll live. Like, I'm not about, like, you know, outright, like, destroying somebody, you know, when it comes to a fight. Just enough to where they can't fight anymore. Which is honestly the most pragmatic thing. Because if you think about it, like, when you're in a fight, you're going to get fucked up too, whether you have a major advantage or not. Like, seriously. Like, I mean, you know, like, so, like, the quickest / like, you know, fastest way to eliminate the threat in the sense that, you know, you're no longer in danger or going to get fucked up is just the better outcome. Like, if you put yourself in a situation to where you're going even further and, you know, still trying to go on top of that person and, like, basically, like, outright just, like, destroy them, essentially, either, like, to the point you're killing them or to the point that they're just, like, might as well be a vegetable, then it's just, like, at that point, now you start having a situation where other people can potentially get involved, or, you know, that person, you know, gets a rush of adrenaline and, you know, still can potentially fight back. But, you know, instead of just being knocked down, like, oh, fuck, oh. Because at that point, you know, it's just like, you know, you're still putting yourself at a risk. You know, if they're on the ground and you're sitting there on top and they try to get up, you could just kick them down on the ground again. Just be like, nope, kick in the head, on the ground again. It's like, you're staying on the ground. I mean, you know, it's like, at that point, you know, it's like you pretty much have dealt with the threat. Where my shots or blows land when the... Well, you better. Because of bystanders, of, like, neighbors, of all sorts of other like, other variables. That's why that's just a dumb metric to go by. Like, you don't want to just, like, have utter disregard of your surroundings once there's, like, a threat in the vicinity. Because there's plenty of other things that, you know, are around that you obviously aren't going to have an intending on destroying or attacking. And thus, you know, would be caught in a crossfire. I mean, this is why, especially when it comes to things like home defense, this is why a lot of people tend to be very, like, adamant about maybe people not using guns and shit. You know, especially when people are like, well, I'm going to have my gun for home defense. It's like, well, sure, that's not a bad idea. I mean, to an extent, you know, like, they're not directly meant for it, but my firearms, you know, most certainly can be used for that. And hypothetically, if it had to, they would. You know, like, but at the end of the day, it's not what they're for. And, you know, with that, it wouldn't even be the first thing I go to. It would, you know, it's like there's plenty of other tools and other means, you know, to address a situation and a threat. And with that, you know, means taking an actual awareness of your surroundings and what is, like, around you. And especially considering my neighborhood and my surroundings, I sure shit ain't going for my guns first, because I don't want that shit, you know, going blasting from my house into someone else's house or into someone's driveway or whatever the fuck. On the entity, well, that's kind of, well, the thing is, that's the problem. Like, if you don't care where the shots land on the target you're trying to shoot, I guarantee you're gonna miss. Like, absolutely, you're going to miss. Like, I mean, honestly, when I, you know, am shooting targets just casually for fun, not in a high-stress situation, I'm obviously not shaking, have high adrenaline, stuff like that. I'm just sitting there casually, just like, pop, pop. And even then, I'll miss my targets, even from, like, 30 yards away sometimes. And it's like, and if you're in a situation where you got a lot of adrenaline, you're kind of shaky because you're all, like, kind of freaked out and you have to take a shot, you're going to be missing. It's not the same thing as you're just sitting there downrange with nothing going on, and you're just like, plink, plink. It's not the same thing. So it's just like, you know, if you don't care about where you're shooting, you know, especially if you consider those situations, you're going to miss, and you're going to potentially hit somebody else. I'm going to try fancy aiming when I try to save my life. And that's the problem. No, I am seeing your point, and it's a problem. Like, that doesn't mean, like, this isn't saying that you try to, like, you know, fucking do some fancy aiming where you have to, like, alright, let me line that shot up in the most perfect way to where I know I'm hitting a non-vital. Like, obviously not, but, you know, at the end of the day, you still have to actually, like, know what you're aiming at, and before you pull that trigger, your sights are directly locked on what you're shooting at. And yeah, in the heat of the moment, you're probably not going to get, like, you know, like an immediate hit, so to speak, because things are happening very rapidly, and shakes are going on, and amongst other shit. But the whole point is to either, like, make sure those crosshairs are locked right on target. And that's why also practice is such an important thing. That's why I try to go, actively, go to the range, you know, when I can, because I want to make sure that, you know, I practice locking my sights in when I'm aiming down on a target, because hypothetically, if some shit hit the fan for whatever fucking reason, whatever scenario that could be, you know, I would at least have that much better, you know, like, you know, muscle memory on laying down my sights on a target and, you know, laying a shot down. And also, you know, picking those shots, you know, as well. You don't just, like, endlessly start shooting. You take one, and then you just take another, you know, like, in little pops. You don't, like, fucking, you know, just start laying down, you know, mag dump a fucking, you know, magazine down on somebody. He's scared if you have a gun experience. Well, that's the problem as well. Like, your stepdad's an idiot because you can't just, like, lecture somebody about this. You also have to, like, I mean, frankly, I want to actually, like, have hands-on training with you while I'm telling you this shit. And actually, like, you know, show what I mean. Because you can also have exercises at, like, a shooting range to where you can simulate an element of being, like, in a high-tense situation. Like, I mean, there's, like, I know there's some, like, different, you know, like, drills that, you know, can be done, in a sense. Like, I know one thing that I've seen that people do is they'll do, like, a 100-yard dash. So they're, like, you know, like, running up to the range while holding their firearm, and then they, you know, set it up, you know, and get ready, and then by the time they're, you know, aiming it down with that 100-yard dash that they just did, they're, like, you know, and that heavy breathing and like that kind of quick, like, oh shit, you know, it kind of simulates in a sense of like, oh fuck, you know, kind of you're intense, you got a lot of adrenaline going on, and it kind of gets you a better understanding of like, you know, when you really got adrenaline going on, how to better control that. You know, so there's different ways to where, you know, especially when it comes to hands-on training and experience, where you can't get more proficient at doing these type of things. But that's the thing, you need to actually have the hands-on experience. I mean, just, you know, because if you don't, and you're just like, oh shit, there's a target, you know, that is about to try to get you or something, you're gonna hurt somebody else. You need to, like, I mean, that's why training is so fucking important with these things. And that's why shut up! And that's why, you know, when it comes to it, like, I mean, especially before buying a firearm, hands-on training needs to, like, be a prerequisite. I mean, it's why I've been doing it, especially a lot, you know, when I've had mine, you know, at least off and on when I do, just because, obviously, I never got it when I bought it. There's Master Roblox coming over right now. Well, yeah, because he's a dipshit who won't train you for some stupid reason. I don't know why he's scared of it. Like I don't know what he expects that you're gonna do. Like what? Somehow get like the one up on him and fucking like do some like meal team 6 shit on him or something. Get like the jump on him or so, whatever the fuck. I mean, like, what does he really think? I mean, wouldn't he want, like, you know, his boy, you know, to at least be proficient at defending himself or something? What a fucking chuckle fuck. I think it's more he's jealous I'm young and he's old. So dumb. So dumb. Ooh, that felt good. It's an obvious stripper bot that he jerks it 8 times a day. Oh, dude, I didn't even need to know that. Come on. Man, what a degenerate. Even I'm not that bad about it. I just like have like the one done in the morning. It's not even every morning. Back to my point, though, I don't care where my shots land. It's on target. It's on the target. Well, I mean, you probably should, though. I mean, that's kind of my thing, though. I mean, yeah, I'm basically kind of lecturing on a more broader level about it, but, I mean, you should. I mean, even when it comes to, like, you know, the paper targets when I practice with, you know, there's times that I do hit those targets, but they're not even close to, you know, the center of the target, where it shows that I was off. And, you know, I'm thinking, damn, alright, need to readjust and get a little bit more proficient with my aiming and stuff. And, I mean, it's not like, well, I'm not, you know, like, such terrible aim that, you know, I'm not hitting my targets. I am, but, you know, you still want to be proficient with that, because, you know, the closer that you can hit center mass, so to speak, to whatever target you're hitting, then the better an outcome is, you know, if you actually have to, you know, shoot at a target that's attacking you. My point is being proficient and actually training and having experience with this type of stuff to, you know, have a little bit better knowledge and have that, you know, much better of an ability to lay rounds on a target and directly, specifically on a target, you know, makes for, you know, a better and a quicker outcome when addressing, you know, a situation like that. Though a better outcome would be to make sure that that situation never happens in the first place. anyone that actually is a responsible gun owner will tell you it's like, you know, a situation, you know, that's the best outcome is the point to where you don't have to draw that firearm or have to bring it out. Like, I mean, it's, you know, that's the best outcome. Like, I mean, for everybody, really. If you can address and assess and deal with a situation without need of a firearm as a gun owner and shit, whether you are concealed carrying it or not, I mean, that actually does show legitimate responsibility, you know, on that person, you know, owning that firearm, knowing that they don't need that to address a situation, unless it absolutely needs to, which they can address a situation or a problem or a potential threat and realize that I don't need to pull this out. And frankly, I mean, there's way too many people out there on this fucking planet, mainly in this country, that just shouldn't be anywhere near these fucking things. I think there's people out there that could potentially own them and stuff if they actually were just properly trained with them. Because there are definitely people out there that, you know, I could tell aren't gonna, like, necessarily be a threat. But, like, they're just not exactly wise about what they're doing, you know? Like, you know, it's those gun fails usually, where it's like you get, like, you know, like a Elmer Fudd who's like, why did my shotgun jam? And they tried to, like, you know, look at the end of the barrel of their shotgun and almost blow their head off and shit. Like, that's an actual video, too. There was, like, some dude who just, like, almost looked at the end of the barrel of his shotgun, and it went off. His hat blew up and flew away, and the hole for the blast was literally, like, right here at the very edge of the brim of his hat. Like, he literally almost shot the front of his face off. Like, he was, like, barely an inch away from it. Like, it was insane. And it's like, and he freaked out, went, oh shit, and, like, ran off for a second, went, what the fuck, and, like, realized his face is okay, saw his hat, and went, oh shit, I almost shot myself. It's just like, oh my god. It's like, see, it's like someone like that needs to be trained. They need to know that doing that is stupid. It's like they might be okay with potentially handling them, but, you know, they need to be trained and actually, like, prove that they can handle it. If not, then get the fuck away from it. You know, it's just like there's some people I could tell, it's like, alright, okay, alright. What are you doing? Oh god, oh no, no one taught you that. Oh god. You know, it's just like, it's that. It's like, so far so good, so far so good. Oh god, what are you doing? Oh no one taught you otherwise. Oh shit, oh shit. I say let the dumbs call themselves. It's kind of how it works in nature, after all. Well, I mean, sure, but we should at least make sure that there's things in place so that at least the dumbs that can at least enlighten themselves have a chance. And then the dumbs that just are helpless and, you know, and they'll call themselves eventually. But at least the ones that potentially can be enlightened, you know, I'm willing to at least put things in place to make sure that, you know, they can be guided a little bit. What the fuck is with this dog, dude? Hold on. I think the mail might have came. I feel like that's why he's freaking out. What is it? Is it like mail or something? What the fuck? This fucking thing. There was nothing. Not a damn thing. He just wants to be a butt. What's wrong with you? You freak. You just want to be a little attention hoe? After all, someone had to eat the poison mushrooms to find out they were poison. Well, sure, but we don't live in a situation or a world where we have to do that anymore, though. We don't have to have, like, be like, oh, those mushrooms good. I will see. Alright, mushroom no good. Dag died. It's like we don't, like, we're not in the world like that anymore. We have science, so we're like, Are these mushrooms potentially have any recreational medical benefits? We shall now do an analyzations. Yes, indeed, yes. Like, I think, I think we have means now. Because of the dumbs. Back, like those dumbs back in the day led up to the ability to, help the dumbs of now, to enlighten themselves. And the ones that, again, are helpless, well, they're helpless. You can't really help them. But, hey, do what you gotta do. And frankly, I'd argue that the reason why there's so many dumbs is because, like, our education system is, like, purposely and, like, constructed in a way where it's, like, slowly rotten from the inside out. Actually, speaking of which, like, I forgot what state, but, like, the governor, Huckabee Sanders, whatever the fuck, like, that dumb bitch that used to be the press secretary for Trump, apparently she actually did, like, a new bill that she passed through her state that's like literally 10% based. It's mostly just shit and garbage where it's just like, like fucking over a lot of different public schools and, I'm pretty sure, like with LGBT rights as well. I mean, a lot of that's in there. But a weird little caveat is that Sarah Huckabee Sanders basically gave a massive increase of wages to teachers to like from 34 to like 50K a year or some shit like that, or something along those lines. And I'm just like, shit, okay. Huckabee Sanders like massively increased wages for teachers, based, like I guess, I mean it's like okay. Everything else about, like, the bill is shit, but that's, like, literally the one good thing in it. It's like, okay. I mean, can we just, like... It's like, can we, like, look at the bill, literally take everything out of it but the wage increase stuff, and then pass that, and then if she wants to push all the other stupid shit, then, she could just do it there, too. She also sponsored private school vouchers to take away money from public schools. Yeah. That was, like, one of the things that was in the provisions. So, basically, private schools, get more funding, but public schools get defunded further, which expands the population of the dumbs, unfortunately. That's why I say I think a lot of dumbs, at least in the U.S., are just ones that, kind of need more of a, of a lightning a little bit, like an actual, like, healthy guiding hand to kind of, properly educate them a little better, because they weren't growing up. So, like, if anything, I'd just say that, it's just kind of sadly, just broad, ignorance, with that. And it's not, really entirely a fault of their own. But, it mainly because of pieces of shit like Huckabee Sanders. They'll throw in a tiny little bone, like wage increases for the teachers, but basically fuck over, their entire education system overall. It's like, hey, we get to pay you more, but the work you have to do is worse. It's like, gee, thanks. I want those wage increases for the work I'm doing now, not for the worst work I gotta deal with, because even, because we have less funds and less, like, fucking, equipment and, like, actual money to invest into our kids. Great. Because also, this happened in my high school, like, because our high school predominantly funded mostly, like, sports and shit, and also, out of our school district, ours was, I think, the least funded, and straight the fuck up, like, art teachers and, like, our music teacher, like, all sorts of, like, mostly in the art departments, or, like, English departments and shit, or, like, literally had to fund their own supplies and shit. And that's not uncommon. Like, that's actually sadly a pretty common story and dotted throughout the country, where especially, like, art teachers essentially have to, like, self-fund, a lot of their classes, basically. And it's fucked. And I wonder why so many right-wing grifters, are failed theater kids, too. Probably because the theater departments were never properly funded. Shocked we found a band that I like that ignorant. It says better than, quote, mediocre, could be heavier. Now, you're putting words in my fucking mouth. Feeling sassy today? Yeah, the fuck you are. I'm not even, like, got the time to be having this discussion right now. Going to work here soon. It's like, you think I have time to have this back and forth really quick? Oh, my lord. And just because I say heavier just doesn't mean that it needs to be like, oh, you know, like shit. Okay, that was honestly a really bad growl. I was not ready to do any growls today. I sound like a dying fucking Bigfoot. Hold on. I could probably actually get a pretty good growl in. There we go. There we go. That was a decent little growl. We have time for a quickie. No, oh my, no we don't. We most certainly do not. Oh my god. Fucking just... You're a pill sometimes, man. You know that? You're a fucking pill. And you are too. My god, getting your tail wagging. Wagging your little tail. Little goof. But you got me all excited for nothing. Who's a pill? Well, you and Zukov as well. I was saying you, and then I was looking at Zukov because he was staring at me with intense judgment, and I was like, you know what? You're also a pill, dog. Because he is. He's ridiculous. He's a little terrorista. I heard that. I actually sent pics to the TJ Discord of Zukov, and I want to see what people have said about this terrorist, because I emphasized that this dog is an actual terrorist. Someone's like, you don't look like terrorists at all. Wow. Little do they know. Oh my god, this little goober. This little goober. This goddamn little goober. What a silly little freak. Want to clarify? We've moved on from that. I mean, or at least I thought. Evidently not. Can knock me out. I mean, that was literally like 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure, you know, it'd be a little different now at this point. If I had to take a guess. Besides, he's been doing a lot of, like, heavy lifting, a lot of other work and shit while he's just sitting around standing, doing nothing. So, I'd say that, you know, strengths have, you know, changed a little bit here from different people. He hasn't aged in 10 years. Okay. He's still like in his fucking 70s and an old ass man. Just because he has, like, you know, a little bit of spunk left in him doesn't mean that his body's still somewhat old and can, you know, get hurt easily. I mean, shit. Not saying that's a good thing, but I mean, still, it's just like, I mean, for fuck's sake. Why do you think, doing, some lifts and shit, and honestly, like, a lot of that heavy work and stuff that you're doing, also it's like something that is kind of like building up muscle strength and shit, whether you're realizing that or not. Because it adds strains to the muscles when you, doing a lot of that type of stuff. I mean, like, a lot of stuff that I do at work, I mean, like, can definitely, add a little bit of, like, extra weight, like, kind of lifting benefits in the sense that, like, it does, like, add a little muscle over time. I've noticed it, too. I've definitely, like, over the years, have, like, kind of, in certain areas bulked up a little bit, and gotten a little bit more strength and shit. I just need to work on that a little more, especially with upper body strength. I think it'd take you in a fair fight, no offense. I mean, I would be, willing to bet that. Dude, like, he's, like, a vet, got, like, that Krav Maga shit. I mean, yeah, he's old, but, hey, I mean, dude, like I said, he's got a little spunk in him still. I ain't doubting that. I ain't like just some stupid brash young butt being like, let me just fucking beat people. Like, I mean, I ain't that fucking, fucking, like, young spiteful cum shit. I mean, I ain't that fucking, spunky. Besides, I'm willing to have more of, like, a verbal altercation with the bastard more than anything. I just kind of want to verbally poke the bear more than anything. If he really wants to try to start shit, I'd be like, bro, really? You're gonna try to act all macho to me, dude? He's a powerful drug. Well, it's also kind of hard to hate somebody outright when I don't really give that much of a fuck about them. I mean, because like I said, if you want to be like, what you fucking do about it, or whatever the fuck, I just be like, hey, it's like, honestly, it's kind of easy to disarm someone, and where it's like, you fucking really gonna try to, like, swing at me over some verbal bullshit? Really? Like, that does kind of disarm somebody in a way, where it's like, well, and we're just like, yeah, maybe. It's like, fucking really, dude? Just, like, you're really gonna be like this? Seriously? You ain't acting like a big honcho badass like you think you are. And I'm just gonna sit there kind of with a smirk. Because straight up, I've done that, to different people who've tried to start shit, and it disarms them. Where it's like, I don't know how to process that. I mean, it's because if they do, then it's like, it exceptionally makes them look like a dumbass, because, like, at that point, I'm just sitting there. I'm just standing there, So anyone watching that shit is just gonna be like, well, that person's in the wrong. And, and if they back down, then they were bluffing. And they were just talking shit. So, either way, puts me in the right, That's why it's kind of a, something that disarms in a way. Because it actually kind of makes someone be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have thrown the first punch. We're gonna have hate bone over music, aren't we? Probably, because I think, our little back and forth of shit is gonna go more to just, like, metal or whatever the fuck, because I think a lot of it's just gonna be me, like, doing music lectures at you. Like, music theory lectures, and, like, getting, like, a whiteboard, and, and all this shit, and, like, fucking, like, getting definitions and all that shit out, and being like, alright, here's what accents are, and here's the different types of accents from the, from the staccatos, you got different things like the vibratos, you got, like, different, styles. So, like, I'm already starting to get into it. See? That's what, yeah, I already know it. I'm just basically going to be a music teacher to you. And frankly, like, honestly, it sounds, maybe, like, that's probably what it really, like, is, honestly. It's what you need. Because, frankly, like, there is a little bit of a slight misunderstanding about what is kind of soft, or heavy, or raspy, or growly. You're having a little bit of a misunderstanding about some of that a little bit, I've noticed. I mean, not entirely, but it's, like, way too broad for what it actually is in, like, music theory realm. Because frankly, there's songs like, oh, this guy's soft. Like, you know, like the songs you're showing me last night. It's like, I was like, dude, these are heavy, bro. And if anything, like, the vocal dynamics are actually, like, very diverse to the point that a lot of the vocals that you don't like overtly, at least like you say to me, are heavily in those songs and in that band. It's like, huh? So it's like, you know, there's I'm gonna, like, you know, do some, like, psychoanalysis on you, dude. You know, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna fucking narrow this shit down. We're gonna find the root of this. I mean, it's like, I know usually these little music arguments start because it's metal in the background, but dude, there's so many times where, like, you know, we were, like, you know, where I'm listening to other shit and you're just like, let's do this or that, and I'm just like, huh? Can't tell me this don't slap. What is it? Okay, dude, again with the vocal thing. These are, dude, so many songs I have those vocal styles, but you're like, I can't understand it. What makes this different? See, I want to psychoanalyze you with this shit, dude, because, like, this band does have a wide vocal, you know, style, you know, like, they do different styles of this shit. So it's just like, I mean, I want to fucking narrow this down, damn it. Is it just because they, like, you know, go, like, have such a wide range? Like, they do the growls and cleans all over, you know, like, you know, just, like, blended? Is it just, like, the balance of it? 80% of your vote. See, like that, I find that to be a little bullshitty. And, you know, because the only reason why I'm understanding these vocals right now, just because it's, like, on a lower volume, is because they have them on the video I'm looking at. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be, you know, unless I was really, like, listening to it right now. And also, you can understand, like, most of my shit, bruh. Like, that's bullshit. And if lyrics are that important, to look up the lyrics. I mean, if there's lyrics that I don't understand in songs, which there's plenty of times where there's, like, parts of lyrics where I'm like, what are they saying? So I'll just look up the lyrics and be like, oh, that's what you're saying. And then I'll listen to the song again and actually kind of hear it in the song now. And, you know, and actually, you know, kind of, in a way, hear the lyrics a little better because now, you know, I've read them, you know, before. For emotional delivery, not for the entire song. And a lot of, like, honestly, especially with, like, other bands that I've, you know, like, shared with you, that's not always true with a lot of the music I share. And also, like, a lot of music that I share just has very similar, you know, music tones and distortion, you know, to this band. And have clean vocals. It's just that they have a different style that they do with those tones and distortions. Like, usually it might be more thrashier, so it might be like, you know, some, like, you know, shit like that. Or it might be kind of like more of an upbeat thing where it's like, like, there's, you know, a little bit more of an expansion on the rhythms. Maybe I'm just picky. Well, we gotta, we gotta, like, you know, chisel at that a little bit. I'm gonna chisel away at that one way or a fuck another. What would you classify this then? Definitely kind of like a blend of, like, an alternative, rock, industrial metal, and new metal. Kind of like a little blend of that. So kind of like a industrial, like, alt-rock, alt-metal type of thing. I mean, I looked them up, and they're classified as, like, an alternative rock band, but they definitely go into, like, heavy metal stuff a lot. like, you know, especially on a kind of a new metal / industrial metal level. So, you know, I would definitely say like a industrial, like alt metal, you know, something like that. Like, a lot of their rhythm style is like kind of on that industrial level, where it's kind of like very hard, heavy, like boom, 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 you know, like very heavy, just like, you know, drum beats, and then just like, you know, pretty simple, you know, guitar rhythms and stuff. But and a lot of the song is built with like the tones and a lot of the sound that comes from those different like chords and rhythms that come from it. So, I mean, you know, and also sometimes, you know, for the vocals as well. So, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, they kind of branch off from that, you know, element of just like that industrial, like alt metal, you know, like they, you know, they definitely kind of go into rock, you know, more often than not, and they sometimes go into the more like new metal style, you know, within the more heavier tones they do. So, I mean, they're you know, for the genre they're in, they're pretty diverse. Which, you know, with you being picky, I find odd. Because with this band being diverse in different styles, you know, at least in the genre that they're in, it's confusing. Because there's so many different bands. I've openly have tried to, like, share to you being like, hey, this sounds similar to stuff that you've sent me. Here. And you're like, eh. And they send me this, and it's like, what? It's like, I mean, this is pretty similar to shit I've sent you. It's like, what the fuck? Go see. Looking up when they're touring, and they did a tour last year, and they come to Portland too. So I missed out to see them live, so I'll just have to wait until they tour again. Like, they have no shows going on right now. Boo. Well, tell that to the band, not me. Because honestly, I was legit wanting to see, you know, like, after I ended my stream last night, I was like, you know, let me go see if they're doing the tour. You know, just by chance. And I saw that they didn't, and I was like, okay, well, when was their past shows? And they did a tour throughout the entire US last year, in 2022. They came to Portland, like, I think in April or something. So, I missed out on them last year, so, oh well. At least I'm aware of them, so I'll just kind of, you know, keep tabs and, you know, see if they, you know, come in Portland again. See, honestly, now that I think about it, I might, I think the band rung the bell, I think I might have seen, like, some posters in Portland once or twice, you know, for their show. Now that I think about it. Because usually, especially for more smaller bands like that, you know, they don't usually have big advertisements, but sometimes, like, you'll, like, on power polls, you'll see, like, a bunch of different, like, you know, posters and advertisements for, like, bands, clubs, and shit like that. And, I'm pretty sure I saw, like, a few posters of that band. I was like, huh, this looks kind of cool. Yeah, I was just, like, walking with my friends, and I was like, huh, this band looks interesting. I just kind of, you know, thought, huh, interesting. I'll kind of keep a mental note, but I just never did. Well, I guess I did, you know, a little bit. With my plebeian music. You're calling me a music snob, but I'm the one trying to, like, expand you into other genres and other styles and other things. Like, bruh, like, I mean, that's a little bit of a projection. Just a little bit. I mean, come on now. I'm not a snob. I'm just, like, I mean, I know music theory. Sorry. It's not my fault that, you know, like, I have knowledge about, like, you know, the ins and outs about just, like, music theory and stuff. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, people have tastes and shit, but, you know, it's like, you can also expand on said tastes. You can always find some new shit and be like, oh, damn. Try the same thing with her emo trap rap. What the fuck is that even? What type of genre is that? Emo trap rap? Okay. What the what? Dude, even I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? I mean, I think we can have some solidarity on that one and be like, what the fuck is that, you know? Because I'm, like, I don't even know if I want to listen to something from that genre. That just... I don't even, oh my god, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to explore that. Well, man, you know what? I think I'm starting to see a little bit of this as to why you're so turned off in a way. Like, all the other styles of music you have to, deal with, besides what you're into. Gospel, emo trap rap, like fucking Ford F-150s, my wife left me and took the dog and the kids, now let me have like 24 packs of Bud Light country music. It's just like, I mean, man, no wonder, it's just like, you don't want to expand the mind a little. Because everything else that you're exposed to is just... It's like, oof. Man, once you come up here, oh my god, there will be an enlightenment. One of her songs for favorite artists. I don't even know if I want to click that. Send me on Discord and I'll react to it on one of my breaks, because I'm gotta go to work here now at this point, so. But, if you want to taste trap rap, okay, maybe I don't. Yeah, God, I don't, honestly. You know what, save it for when I get off work. I don't even know if I want to expose myself while I'm working, because I think that'll just put me through, like, such a, gaze that I don't even know, like, what I would do. Shut the fuck up! Oh my god! Yeah, I'll let you outside before I leave. Jesus! Go wagging your tail, you little shits. Oh my god, you're a little turd. You know that? Yeah, fuck you. You're a jackass. He's a prick. Fuck you, dog. Quit staring at me. This dog's ridiculous. Tell her to tell me her favorite song to torture you with later. Oh, God. Oh, great. Can't wait. Oh, boy. Anyway, well, gotta go to work, so peace out, and I'll be back when I get off and all that fun shit, so...